This is a story about two guys just trying to go to the beach and have a little bit of fun. So some context, I'm a local guy, grew up in Loudoun County, original Loudoun County, went to Broad Run High School, played football, and my mediocre talents took me to a place called West Virginia University, where I met one of my really great friends, a friend named Joe Pabian. Joe's about 6'4", 250 pounds. He looks like a refrigerator, but he kind of has the personality of a golden retriever, right? And so, some scholars will tell you that West Virginia University is a party school, and they're right. And I did my best to live up to that. So I bartended. Joe and I bounced together. I mean, we did our best to, create as much revenue for the alcohol industry in Morgantown as you can. Buddy Mike, you guys were there. You know what I mean, right? So, so Joe and I had a lot of fun. And then we both graduated. We both came to the DC, Baltimore area, and we did what any, normal 20-year-old guys would do. We discovered this wonderful, wonderful place called Dewey Beach. Now, for those that don't know Dewey Beach is kind of like if Las Vegas and Spring Break had a baby, and that baby grew up to have money and buy top shelf liquor and get crazy at the beach. And that's what Dewey Beach was, right? So like any respecting young adult with a job, we found 25 friends, and we got to a beach house 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row. So that was a lot of fun. We go to Dewey Beach, have a good time. And why I tell you that is because we're kind of professionals at drinking and having a good time, We've done that, right? Joe, kind of stayed doing that thing, and I did what, a lot of young men do. I went, found a woman, married her, had some kids, and, helped them put Cheerios into DVD players and did all those things that you do with young kids. So a couple years later, Joe calls me up. He was the best man at my wedding. He's like, hey, man, our beach house, I'm down at our beach house. It's not mine anymore. I didn't go there anymore, but it was still his. He's like, hey, why don't you come down and visit me? I'm like, yeah, that's great. He's like, nobody's here. It's just me by myself. I'm like, dude, I'm in. So I did, what any respecting young father would do. I called my parents up. My then wife was out of town. And I said, hey, Mom and Dad, can you watch my son? He's sitting there right there. Can you watch him for tonight while I go visit Joe? And they're like, yeah, let's go do that. I'm like, that's a great idea, right? So I'm like, yeah, this is a great idea. So, I go meet Joe. We're going to try to keep it simple, not go crazy. And so we decided to go to my cousin's girlfriend's bar called Sharky's. And we have a few drinks. We're having a good time. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember anything. Next thing I know, I wake up in a closet, halfway in and out of a closet. Don't know where I'm at. I look over, I see Joe. He's in bed, but he's halfway in and out of bed on the mattress. The mattress is askew. He actually looked like a crime scene chalk outline laying off the bed. Now, we're in our beach house. There's 5, 6 bedrooms. We could have slept anywhere. But apparently we decided to have kind of like a bunk bed party, right? I wake up, but I don't feel well, right? Like I said, I've done this before. I've gone out drinking before, and I don't feel good. I feel like I just woke up from surgery. If the surgeon said, hey, everything was successful except, we've just taken away your dignity, right? I didn't feel good. Completely different than being hungover. I go over to try to wake up Joe. Joe's not moving, but he's alive, right? He's breathing. And I'm like, holy crap, I got to go home. I got to get my son, right? It's Sunday. So I said, you know what? I'm not drunk. It's late in the afternoon. It's been like 15, 16 hours since I remember going out drinking with Joe. And I get in the car, and all of a sudden, thankfully I had the window rolled down. I tried to pull out. I threw up everywhere outside of the car, right? It was something completely different. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back inside for a little while, feel a little bit better. Joe's not moving, feel a little better, white knuckle at home, get my son, everything's great. Call Joe a couple times, he doesn't answer, but that's when the phone calls start coming in from other people. Like, hey bro, you guys were fantastic last night. Do you remember that? You guys were out of control. You were so much fun. You guys followed each other around the entire Dewey Beach all night together. It was like a Thelma and Louise movie without the cliff, right? So apparently Joe and I, walked and partied around Dewey Beach all night. And I don't remember a thing. Friend calls up and says, oh man, hey, do you remember throwing Brian and Tommy in trash cans? I'm like, no, I don't remember that at all, right? I'm like, are Tommy and Brian okay? I'm like, oh, they thought it was really funny. I'm like, that doesn't sound very funny. So I'm like, I'm starting to panic. So I called Joe. Joe's not waking up. Then another friend calls me. He's like, oh man, do you guys remember? You guys were on a stage last night or the night before, and you won tickets to a comedy show by being in a trivia contest. Like, we were in a trivia contest? Don't remember any of that. So I called Joe. He finally answers the phone. It's been 2 days. He has not left Dewey Beach. He tells me he felt so bad he thought about calling 911, but he was so embarrassed because he couldn't explain exactly what happened to him. So he stayed there, and I said, hey man, do you remember anything? He said, I don't remember anything at all. And I said to him, hey, do you have anything in your pockets? He pulls out his pockets. He's like, yeah, I've got comedy tickets in my pocket. I'm like, apparently, we both got on stage, answered trivia questions, and won a comedy contest, and won tickets to the next comedy show. Were we funny? What were the answers to the trivia? We beat everybody, apparently. So, but at this point, we were both kind of panicking. We didn't know what happened, right? So a day later, I get this email from my cousin's girlfriend. She was the bartender at the bar, and she sends us this picture. And it shows me and Joe standing at the bar. It's a grainy photograph from the surveillance camera. And it shows Joe and I looking in another direction. We're kind of standing up from the bar. And this guy leaning over our drinks, putting something in our drinks. Yeah? So I show it to Joe. We're trying to figure out, like, holy crap, we got roofied. Like, what was this guy's plan? Was he going to take us outside and beat us up and rob us? Was he going to take us home? I felt fine. I'm like, did this guy fail crime school? Like that? Why would you roofie the two biggest dudes in the bar, right? And so we kind of figured out that they roofied us. They're like, okay, we're going to roofie those two guys and make the two biggest guys in the bar confused for the next 72 hours of their life, because we were confused. We had no idea what happened, and so. We finally figured this out. We try to tell some people what happened. We show them, they don't believe us. We show them the video. They're like, okay, we finally believe you now. So WVU and being at Dewey Beach paid off. We weren't overserved. We actually got roofied. So this is kind of a public service announcement to everybody out there. Doesn't matter how big you are. Doesn't matter what gender you are. Keep your drinks covered. Because if you wake up half in and out of a closet like a reject from the Chronicles of Narnia, and you have comedy tickets in your pocket and you don't know where they came from, you did not have a normal Saturday night. Thank you very much.